here on the Pro Wrestling Show. What a Pro Wrestling Show we have for you. We were supposed to have an upcoming match between NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch and her challenger Tegan Knox. They were supposed to meet coming up tonight, but plans have changed. We'll get to that. As Becky Lynch had her street fight at NXT No Mercy against Tiffany Stratton. What a match that was. We'll talk about that coming up. Plus, too, the contract signing between Gunther defense against Tommaso Ciampa. Things went unplanned. We'll talk about all that in two. Main event, Jey Uso was supposed to go against Damian Priest too. Jey Uso supposed to go against Damian Priest in a match. Yes, that match didn't come to fruition. And two, Rhea Ripley returns. She has an ultimatum for all the members of the Judgment Day. Won't believe what she said. And two, we'll talk about still going on. We know that Edge is no longer part of WWE, but he made a serious impact last night at AEW's Wrestle Dream. We'll talk about all that and more. The Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. Edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Kenny Dick. Glad you can join us on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We'll get to it a little bit later with Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa and a contract signing. We'll get that and more. But we ain't gonna waste no time whatsoever. We're gonna get things started with Nia Jax. Last week. Well, not last week, but a couple weeks ago, she's been destroying the whole women's roster. Trying to put her name back on the map again. Nia did so tonight. Nia trying to relive her moment that she did in the sun, and Nia came back with a vengeance, and Nia did so. Well, a brawl had ensued, and the brawl had ensued between Nia and Rhea Ripley. Nia and Rhea Ripley couldn't wait to get their hands off each other. The securities, referees, personnel, officials had to come in and break apart Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley returned back with a vengeance, and she got her hands on Nia Jax. I think this is far from over. When Nia Jax had pummeled the women's champion tonight, the Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley got a little stunned at what happened and stuff. But Rhea Ripley put a ultimatum and called out her own teammates of the Judgment Day. She even singled out Damian Priest. She told Damian Priest about himself that while she was absent, he should have been leading, but he's been too busy trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. And I guess Rhea Ripley was unsettled about it. Rhea Ripley been making a lot of ultimatums and stuff, and she really had a vengeance out on everybody, including her teammates. She even called out her Dom. She told Dominic that she had went to WWE management and got him a rematch for the NXT North American Championship, and told Dom if he don't get the job done and win the NXT Championship for the second time, he can be quite well through. I mean, through indeed. We know that Dominic was involved in a match this week, um, this past Saturday at NXT No Mercy, and Dominic lost his NXT title to Trick Williams. So we know Dominic Mysterio will go against Trick Williams tomorrow night on NXT. And Rhea Ripley has said that if Dominic don't get the job done, he's going to be kicked out the group. So Dominic got a lot to do, like Lucia, a lot to explaining to do, and Dominic got to get the job done, or else he'll be kicked out the group. So we'll see tomorrow NXT. Look for the NXT Ring Report tomorrow night. Here immediately after NXT. Tomorrow here on Connect TV in our social channels. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Dominic Mysterio can regain the NXT North American title, or he'll be kicked out the group. So he's got some other choices. He got some options to do. Well, speaking of that, what's the contract signing? Adam Pearce holding court in the ring right here, in the middle of the ring. Adam Pearce, the WWE GM, was in the ring, and Adam Pearce held court, and Pearce wanted to officiate the match between Gunther and Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa gave an impassionate promo that he wants to be the next Intercontinental Champion. He wants to dethrone Gunther of his Intercontinental Championship. And he wants to do it in the ring. He wants to do it tonight. Well, Adam Pearce said if it was okay with Gunther, the match would be made official. And the match was made official. The match did. Gunther accepted the challenge for later on tonight. The main event was going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther even smiled that he didn't think Tommaso Ciampa had it in him. Tommaso Ciampa did, and Tommaso Ciampa, we'll tell you a little bit later on what went down with Tommaso Ciampa and Gunther. We getting a free championship match. Gunther, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, against Tommaso Ciampa. Can Tommaso Ciampa dethrone Gunther and become the new Intercontinental Champion? We just have to wait and find out a little bit later on in the show. We'll get to it in a minute. Also, too, was in action. A lot of matches as well. Drew McIntyre was the guest host. Drew McIntyre was a special guest host in his with Miz. Drew McIntyre even singled out Cody, and Cody is the problem. I know Drew and Cody are former tag team champions. I think Drew singled out Cody because Cody was the one that brought back Jey Uso. And Cody I think Drew felt like Cody was trying to give him second chances. Cody know a thing or two about giving out second chances and stuff. See right here, Jey Uso saying that he is with Cody. Him and Cody ain't gonna be friends, but they are kind of on the same page. So we'll get to see that. Well, speaking of Cody, Cody made it clear that him and Jey Uso, they're coming to SmackDown this Friday. And we'll see what they're gonna do this Friday on SmackDown. As a reminder, there will be no SmackDown Ring Report. There will be a predict the outcome for Fastlane, and then we'll have a special later on that evening for the Fastlane review, reviewing the results of the show and my predictions as well, and what surprises may have come. We're on the road to Survivor Series as well. Well, we'll get to that. Cody saying that him and Jey Uso will be in attendance on SmackDown. Maybe Jey will kind of see his brother, and they'll go from there and how they will interact with each other. Well, speaking of that, world champion Seth Rollins, he has a busy night coming up this Saturday night when he defends his world title against Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. We know we told you last week the last man standing match rules. You can't pin. You have to stand. If you can't withstand to the 10 count or winning the match, and no pinfalls, no submissions, It's just you standing to your opponent to the if you can stand to the count 10 and have your beat your opponent down to the count 10. I'll say that to win the match to keep your title. Well, we said this Nakamura playing mind games with Seth Rollins, even attacking Seth Rollins in his back, and Nakamura holding up the belt, the world title that could be his if he can beat down Seth Rollins like he did tonight. And there was a indication, a preview of what is going to go down and stuff. As you see right here, this is where Nakamura beat down Seth Rollins. Nakamura even had a Videotron himself counting to 10, giving the example preview that this was he's going to do this Saturday at Fastlane if he wants to win the coveted world title. We can see that coming up. Like I said, we'll get the predictions later on this week on what went down. So hey, don't force yourself. Well, we told you this. The Miz and Drew McIntyre had their match. The Miz lost his match. Miz even wrestled in a suit, and Drew McIntyre beat him. At the Miz made a comment about Drew, about him being a skirt. Drew looking like he's losing his patience, and Drew McIntyre won. Look for a feud between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes down the road. I can see it because Drew's kind of going losing his patience with everything. They say carrying crosses kind of take away something, so we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be. Speaking of that, um, American Imperium was in action. Imperium, trying to be on the good graces of their leader Walter. After Walter had you know insulted them and tried to talk to them down. Walter feels like he has to tell Imperium what to do and get them back on the right track and not losing. Imperium winning again. Imperium listen to their leader, their their righteous leader or whatever you want to call it, their inspirational leader in Walter. Imperium got the win over American Alpha. Imperium getting the win and getting the dupes earlier tonight. So you know how that be. Speaking of that, Bronson Reed was in action. Bronson Reed won his match. I forgot who he went against, but he went against a jobber earlier. Bronson Reed getting the job done indeed. As well as Ivar went against Xavier Woods and won his match against Ivar tonight. He beat him down. Well, we told you this. Women's NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch. We saw her this past Saturday. She went against Tiffany Stratton in a Scream Rules match, and what a Scream Rules match it was. Becky Lynch did all she can do, but she had a torn lesion after that match. So Becky Lynch cannot wrestle right now. But Becky Lynch sent out a message that Tegan Knox was next in line to fight Becky for the NXT Women's Championship. That wasn't the case, but Tegan getting too busy and too caught up with Natalia. I don't know what's going on with Natalia and what her interior motives are, but you can tell Tegan Knox might have to watch her back. But Tegan Knox went against Chelsea Green, and she won a match against one half of the women's tag team champions, Chelsea Green, in a match. But Tegan won her match tonight. So Tegan Knox, she won. But you got to be looking forward to what's going to go down next week when Becky Lynch is all healed up, rest up, and she must defend her NXT Women's Championship against Tegan Knox. They'll be next week on Raw. They're supposed to be scheduled tonight, but it got rescheduled for next week. So we'll see this next week. Tegan Knox versus Becky Lynch for the coveted NXT Women's Championship. So Becky Lynch healing up, and she should be healing up soon. They get the opportunity of a lifetime. Becky Lynch She'll be on tomorrow's NXT. Look for the NXT Ring Report tomorrow, immediately after NXT, so you can see what went down and how they're going to build this up. All right, coming up is the impromptu match that happened tonight, the Intercontinental Championship, the preview. Gunther defends the Intercontinental title against #1 contender Tommaso Ciampa. They did a fast start already, a fast lane already for the match during the contract signing. So Tommaso Ciampa was ready to go after pep talking himself. He got opportunity against Gunther. Well, Tommaso Ciampa gave his all. I'll say that right now. He gave his all in that battle, but it wasn't enough. Tommaso Ciampa, we thought he was inches away from winning the Intercontinental title, but Gunther using the power bomb, using the sleeper hole to get the job done and made Tommaso Ciampa pass out. I even thought I thought it was gonna be a title change. The title change didn't happen. Tommaso Ciampa lost tonight. He put up a great fight, but it wasn't enough. But Imperium came out of nowhere and attacked Ciampa until Johnny Gargano, the returning Johnny Gargano, came out of nowhere. Thank God. WWE creator is back on track a little bit with him. I thought they didn't know what to do with him, but they know now. They had to find something for him to do. Johnny Gargano came out there and super kick and help out Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano did so tonight. And Johnny Gargano, we saw this. It was the last ending of the show. They was about to do the kick strike, but then it cut off from there. The feed cut off. So we now know DIY, do it yourself is back. The former NXT Tag Team Champions are back and back than never before. They could be going against the Judgment Day and win the tag team titles from the Judgment Day. I thought about that. So it could be possibilities. We could see that UI could win the tag team titles, become undisputed tag team champions, and go from there. So hey, DIY is back and better than ever. So hey, we'll see. But we know Cody and Jey Uso, they're going to go for the tag team titles this Saturday at Fastlane. So we'll see that match coming up as well. Them against Judgment Day. If they can't get the job done against Judgment Day, I think DUI will be next in line to get the titles. All right. That ends the Raw Ring Report. We're going to move forward right now to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we want to say some sad news to report that WWE WrestleMania 2 football player Russ Francis, who competed in the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal, NFL Battle Royal, has passed away in a unfortunate plane crash. We send our thoughts and condolences to his family and everyone else. Man, that's sad to hear about in the plane crash. Man, so sad. Russ Francis has passed away due to his plane crash. Also, too, Cody. Speaking of Corey Graves, the SmackDown commentator, had posted this pic that he want to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. So, Corey Graves paying tribute to his friend Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, man, the Fiend, he will be missed. Bray passed away this past August from complications from COVID and a heart failure. Bray was dead. His spirit will live on with infamy. I can tell you that right now about Bray. Also, too, John Ross staff of Fightful.com reported this. No, I'm not John, but I mean Edge. Edge, we all know that he's no longer part of WWE. Edge sent this tweet out that he loved WWE. He appreciate he's gonna still watch him, but he wanted to do more. They didn't have much more for him to do. Simple as that, and that's okay. He'll still be watching, supporting his friends over there. Edge, not wasting no time whatsoever. Getting things done at AEW. Ed already got merchandise for AEW. Ed's not wasting no time whatsoever. He's gonna get things done. He'll be on Dynamite this week, this Wednesday. We'll hear from the Radar Superstar about his new move from WWE to AEW. Long the waiting, so we knew that was coming sooner rather than later. And finally, we talk about this before we go. Fightful.com talk about David G and Brian Daniels about the match, about wrestling, about the technical match. So we'll talk about that as well. We know coming up this next week on Raw, next Monday, Tegan Knox will get the opportunity she's been waiting for. She's taking Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's title. The special film tonight. Next week is going to be a different story. We're going to see these two women scratch and claw. Remember that Becky Lynch will be on NXT. What's next for the man? For her. I mean, what's next for the man coming up as well. All right, that's going to do it this week for the Pro Wrestling Show for Raw Ring Report. We want to see next week what next week going to bring to us on Raw. They're going to have to address the DIY. I hate to box stuff, but you know, DIY is back with a vengeance. They're back. We'll see them coming up this next Monday on the green night of DIY. All right. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. Thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show Raw Ring Report. We'll see you tomorrow for the NXT Ring Report. See you then.